there and welcome. If you've ever been in a meeting and heard words like Agile or Scrum being tossed around and you just kind of nodded along, you are definitely in the right place. Today, we're going to cut through all that jargon and make these really powerful ideas super simple and easy to understand. So let's get right into it.
You know the feeling, right? A huge project kicks off. There's this massive year-long plan, a binder full of requirements that's like an inch thick and absolutely zero room to change anything. Then, like 6 months in, everybody kind of looks around and realizes we're building the wrong thing, but it feels like it's too late to turn back. It's so frustrating, so inefficient, and yeah, it happens all the time.
So this old school way of doing things is usually called the waterfall method. And honestly, the name fits perfectly. Think about it like building a house. You draw up the perfect blueprint, then you pour the foundation, then you build the walls, and then you put on the roof. You can't just decide to put the roof on first, and you definitely can't change the blueprint halfway through without causing a massive, expensive mess.
This slide really just shows it all. On the left, you've got that old way, a rigid, straight line. You do all the work, and you deliver everything at the very end in one big drop. But look at the right side. That's a better way. It's this flexible, looping cycle where you're delivering little pieces of value again and again. And that, right there, is the whole idea behind Agile.
Okay, so what is Agile? Now, before your brain starts swimming with complicated charts and processes, let me just stop you right there. At its heart, Agile isn't a process. It's a philosophy. It's a mindset. It's really just a set of values that a group of software developers came up with way back in 2001 because they knew there had to be a better way to build things.
The first value is a big one. It basically says, look, processes and tools are useful, sure, but what's way more important is having smart people actually talking to each other and working together. It's about real collaboration, not just blindly following some flowchart.
And this one just gets right to the point. What's the goal here? It's to create something that actually works. I mean, it's so much better to have a product that people can use with just enough documentation to get by than to have a perfect 200-page manual for a product that doesn't even exist yet. Instead of spending months arguing over every little detail in a contract and then vanishing for a year to go build something, Agile says, why don't we just work with our customer the whole time? This constant back and forth makes sure we're building what they really need, not just what we thought they needed way back at the start. And this one is the heart of it all. The world changes, business needs change, your customers discover new things they want. Agile says, great, let's embrace that. It's about having the ability to pivot and adapt, instead of stubbornly sticking to an old plan that's leading you right off a cliff. Okay, so if Agile is the philosophy, the why, then you're probably asking, how do we actually do it? Well, that's where Scrum comes in. Think of Scrum as the most popular game plan or framework for putting that whole Agile philosophy into action every single day.
Let's be super clear on this because it trips a lot of people up. Agile is the mindset. It's the big idea. Scrum, on the other hand, is the framework. It's a specific set of rules and roles and meetings that helps your team actually live out those Agile values. So you don't choose between them. You use Scrum to be Agile. Now, the really great thing about Scrum is that you can basically boil down the entire playbook into 3 simple numbers, 353. Seriously, if you can remember that, you've got the basics down. So, what's the deal with this secret code?
So what on earth could 353 mean? I know, it looks like a combination to a lock or something, but it's actually the entire blueprint for the Scrum framework, broken down into 3 really simple parts. Ready to crack the code? And here you go. The 353 rule stands for 3 roles, 5 events, and 3 artifacts. The roles, that's your people. The events, that's your meetings, your rhythm, and the artifacts, those are your to-do lists and the actual stuff you create. That's it. That's the whole game. Let's dive into that first number, the 3 roles. Every single Scrum team is made up of these 3 key players. So, who's on the team? First up, you have the product owner. This person is the champion for the product. They're the voice of the customer and the business. Their whole job is to figure out what the team should be working on to deliver the most value. They are the what person. Next, we've got the Scrum Master. Think of this person as the coach for the team. And I mean coach, not a manager. They're not telling people what to do. Their job is to protect the team, remove any roadblocks that are slowing them down, and make sure everyone understands and uses the Scrum framework well. They're the how can we do this better person. And finally, we have the developers.
Now, this doesn't just mean software coders. The developers are all the experts who actually build the thing. They're a self-organizing cross-functional group. That means they have all the skills they need, design, engineering, testing, you name it, to turn an idea into a finished product. They're the how people.
All right, we've met the team. Now for the 5 events that create the rhythm of Scrum. Everything happens in a cycle called a sprint. It's a short period of time, usually 1 to 4 weeks. A sprint kicks off with sprint planning, where the team decides what to work on. Then, every single day, they have a quick 15-minute daily Scrum to sync up. At the end of the sprint, they show off what they built in the sprint review, and finally, they reflect on how to improve in the sprint retrospective. And then, the whole cycle starts right over again.
The last piece of our 3-5-3 puzzle, the artifacts. These are basically the tools that make all the work visible. The product backlog is like the master to-do list for the entire project. The sprint backlog is the smaller to-do list for just this one sprint. And the increment? That's the usable, done piece of the product that the team actually created during the sprint.
So, after all of that, the roles, the events, the artifacts, you might be wondering, what's the big deal? Why bother with all this? Well, it's because this whole system is designed to directly solve all those frustrations we talked about at the very beginning. And the payoff is huge. Instead of that rigid plan, you get the flexibility to actually adapt to change. Instead of waiting a year to see anything, you get faster delivery of real value to your customers, which is what matters. The team is always learning and getting better. Everyone can see exactly what's going on, and people feel a true sense of ownership, which does wonders for morale. It's just a smarter way to work.
Honestly, the best way to really get Scrum is to just try it. And thankfully, there are amazing tools out there that make it so easy to start. You can find free Scrum templates and tools like Jira that set up your boards and backlogs and everything for you, guiding you right through the process.
So, I'll just leave you with this thought. What if your next project wasn't some long, painful march toward a finish line you can't even see? What if instead it was a series of short, focused cycles where you deliver real value, get feedback, and actually get better every single week? That, right there, is the promise of Agile and Scrum. Thanks for watching.